Have you ever wondered why Satan has never found the grave of Prophet Musa, peace be upon him? Why? Despite his cunning and centuries of attempts, the resting place of one of the greatest messengers of Allah remains hidden from evil. This is the story of why Satan is still searching for the grave of Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, exploring Tafsir, historical reports and spiritual lessons. A tale that blends history, divine wisdom, and the unseen battles between good and evil. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell us in the comments, which untold story from the lives of the prophets or ancient battles would you like us to explore next? According to Islamic tradition, Satan has never ceased in his mission to mislead humanity. From whispering doubts into the hearts of mankind to attempting to disrupt divine plans, his enmity knows no bounds. But there is one task that has eternally eluded him: discovering the grave of Prophet Musa, peace be upon him. Scholars have long reflected on this mystery, noting that Allah has hidden Musa's resting place to protect the sanctity of his legacy and to shield believers from deception. Tafsir reports, particularly from scholars like Ibn Kathir, indicate that the grave was deliberately concealed by Allah. In the Quran, Allah commands respect and remembrance for the prophets and their legacies, while simultaneously ensuring that their final resting places remain protected from desecration and corruption. Satan, ever scheming, seeks to locate Musa's grave, not to honor it, but to distort the narrative and plant falsehoods among the faithful. Historical and traditional accounts suggest that even during his lifetime, Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, faced relentless opposition from Satan and those influenced by him. From the plagues in Egypt to the trials of the children of Israel in the wilderness, Satan's attempts to undermine Musa were relentless. Yet, Allah protected him, guiding his every step, and even in death, preserving his grave from evil's grasp. The question arises, why specifically Musa? Why is his grave a target for Satan's search? Scholars explain that Musa, peace be upon him, is one of the greatest prophets, a messenger who spoke directly with Allah and led a people chosen for divine guidance. His life and legacy serve as a beacon of truth, and Satan's desire to corrupt that legacy is an extension of his eternal enmity toward truth and obedience. By hiding Musa's grave, Allah ensures that evil cannot corrupt his memory or manipulate the faithful by turning the grave into a place of false worship or misguidance. Imagine the unseen battle: Satan wandering across mountains, deserts, and lands, trying to uncover a grave that Allah has purposefully concealed. Every attempt ends in failure, every plan foiled, reminding us of the power of divine protection. The story carries a deeper spiritual lesson, that Allah safeguards what is sacred, and no matter how cunning evil may be, it can never overcome divine wisdom. The concealment of Prophet Musa's grave also teaches a profound lesson for believers. It reminds us that the physical resting places of prophets are less important than the legacy of their teachings, their faith, and their obedience to Allah. While people may desire to venerate sites, the true honor lies in following the guidance they brought, internalizing their lessons, and striving to live in accordance with divine commands. Throughout history, numerous places have been proposed as the resting place of Prophet Musa, peace be upon him. Some suggest locations in the Sinai, others near the river Nile, and some even in distant lands. Yet none have been confirmed. Scholars agree that these speculations are unnecessary. The grave remains hidden for divine reasons, and seeking it with worldly intentions is a distraction from understanding Musa's true legacy. Even today, the story continues to resonate. Satan, bound by his eternal mission to mislead, cannot find Musa's grave. Every failure serves as a reminder of Allah's infinite wisdom, his protection of the prophets, and the futility of evil against divine decree. And for believers, it is a lesson in trust. Just as Allah protected Musa in life, he continues to guard what is sacred in ways beyond human comprehension. This story, like many in Islamic history, blends the seen with the unseen, history with divine wisdom, and caution with inspiration. It calls on us to reflect, to trust in Allah's protection, and to honor the prophets not through monuments or graves alone, but through the faithful living of their teachings. And so the search continues. Satan wanders, deceives, and whispers, yet he cannot prevail. The grave of Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, remains hidden, a divine secret, a testament to Allah's infinite wisdom, and a lesson for every generation. What Allah protects cannot be harmed, and what He conceals serves a greater purpose for the faithful. As we continue, the mystery deepens. The concealment of Prophet Musa's grave is not just a story of divine protection, but a tale recorded in Tafsir, historical reports, and scholarly reflections that span centuries. Islamic scholars, including Ibn Kathir, Al-Qurtubi, and Al-Tabari, have examined the significance of hiding the resting places of prophets, emphasizing that this concealment serves multiple purposes: protecting sacredness, guiding the faithful, and foiling the plans of Satan. According to Tafsir, the grave of Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, was deliberately hidden by Allah to prevent it from becoming a target of mischief. Satan, the eternal deceiver, has a habit of corrupting what is pure, misleading people into idolizing graves or venerating sites for the wrong reasons. By keeping Musa's resting place hidden, Allah ensured that his legacy would remain untarnished, focused on his teachings, miracles, and obedience, rather than becoming a center of false practices. Historical reports suggest that even during his lifetime, Musa faced relentless opposition from evil forces. From Pharaoh's tyranny in Egypt to the temptations of the children of Israel, Satan tried repeatedly to undermine his mission, and after his death, the attempts did not cease. It is said that Satan has searched tirelessly for centuries, driven by his enmity and desire to disrupt the remembrance of Allah's chosen messenger. Yet each effort has failed, demonstrating a profound truth: no power, no cunning can overcome Allah's will. Ibn Kathir, in his Tafsir, writes that the concealment of Prophet Musa's grave is a sign of divine wisdom. By hiding the exact location, Allah teaches believers that true devotion does not depend on visiting a grave or physically venerating a site. Instead, the focus must remain on faith, obedience, and implementing the teachings of the prophets in one's life. Musa's life was a testament to trust in Allah, leadership, and resilience, and these are the treasures that believers are meant to preserve. Al-Qurtubi highlights another reason. By protecting the grave from Satan, Allah also prevents misinformation and false claims. Imagine if Satan succeeded in discovering the grave. He could sow doubt, fabricate miracles, or mislead people into worshiping the wrong place. History has shown that such acts have caused corruption in religious practices, but Allah's concealment ensures that Musa's legacy remains pure, untouched by deception. The lesson is clear. Divine protection preserves truth even when evil appears persistent. Interestingly, multiple locations have been suggested as potential resting places for Prophet Musa, peace be upon him. Some traditions point to Mount Nebo, while others suggest locations in Sinai or the lands of ancient Egypt. However, scholars agree that these are speculative and secondary to the main point. Allah has intentionally hidden the grave. The fascination with locating it reflects human curiosity. But the Tafsir reminds us that ultimate wisdom lies in accepting divine guidance, rather than obsessing over worldly signs. This story also highlights the cosmic battle between good and evil. Satan, created from fire, is cunning and relentless, yet he is bound by Allah's will. His search for Musa's grave is symbolic of his eternal failure to dominate the righteous, manipulate truth, or undermine divine plans. Every attempt he has made across deserts, lands, and centuries has ended in failure, teaching believers about the futility of evil when faced with divine protection. Even today, the tale serves as a reminder. We live in a world filled with distractions, deception, and unseen forces influencing our thoughts and actions. Just as Allah protected Musa's grave, He protects the hearts, minds, and legacies of those who strive for truth. Believers are encouraged to focus on the teachings of the prophets, the remembrance of Allah, and the practice of faith. These are the true treasures safeguarded from Satan's mischief. Moreover, the story reflects the larger principle that divine wisdom often conceals what the world desires to see. Not everything is meant for human knowledge or verification. Sometimes, what is hidden carries a deeper lesson about trust, patience, and obedience. Musa's grave remains a divine secret, and in that secrecy lies a profound spiritual message. Focus on the legacy and the message, not the material form or location. Imagine Satan wandering endlessly, scanning valleys, rivers, and mountains, trying to uncover a grave hidden by Allah. Every failure is a testament to divine protection and a lesson for humanity. It reminds us that evil, no matter how persistent or clever, cannot prevail against Allah's will. And for believers, it is an encouragement to place trust entirely in Allah, knowing that what He protects is beyond the reach of deceit and corruption. The reports, Tafsir, and historical reflections converge on one point. The hiding of Prophet Musa's grave is a deliberate act of divine wisdom. It safeguards sanctity, preserves legacy, prevents deception, and serves as a lesson in faith. The story is not meant to incite obsession over location, but to guide believers toward understanding the unseen battles and trusting Allah's plan. As we reflect, we realize the depth of this lesson. True devotion does not depend on physical proximity to sacred objects. It depends on understanding, following, and living by the teachings of the prophets. Musa's legacy is preserved not in a grave, but in the hearts of those who embody his courage, obedience, and unwavering trust in Allah. And so, the story continues to resonate through time. Satan searches endlessly, but Allah's wisdom shields what must remain sacred. Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, rests in a hidden place, his grave protected, his legacy uncorrupted, and his life serving as an eternal guide for all believers. The story of Prophet Musa's hidden grave is more than a historical curiosity or a tafsir lesson. It is a profound spiritual reflection on faith, divine wisdom, and the eternal struggle between good and evil. While Satan continues his search, centuries of failure serve as a powerful reminder for believers. Allah's protection is absolute, and His plans cannot be thwarted by even the most cunning adversary. One of the most important lessons is the significance of the unseen. In our lives, we often seek tangible proof before trusting, acting, or committing to faith. Yet Prophet Musa's concealed grave demonstrates that the unseen can carry greater wisdom and protection than anything visible. Satan, despite his intelligence and centuries of effort, cannot penetrate what Allah has hidden. This tells us that divine wisdom often operates beyond human perception, and trusting in Allah, even without visible evidence, is a hallmark of true faith. Scholars emphasize that the concealment of Musa's grave also underscores the priority of spiritual legacy over physical presence. The prophets are honored not because of their graves, but because of their teachings, sacrifices, and guidance for humanity. Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, led his people through unimaginable trials, confronted Pharaoh, and received divine revelation directly from Allah. His legacy lies in courage, obedience, and unwavering reliance on Allah, qualities that remain accessible to all believers, regardless of any physical location. The Tafsir reports that the grave's concealment serves as a protection from Satan's deceptive plans. Historically, Satan has sought to manipulate faith by redirecting attention from the truth. In many cultures and eras, attempts to exploit graves or relics have led people astray. By hiding Musa's resting place, Allah ensures that the focus remains on his divine mission, his miracles, and the moral guidance he left for the children of Israel. It is a timeless lesson devotion must be to Allah and his message, not to physical objects, sites, or symbols that can be corrupted. The story also illustrates the futility of evil when confronted with divine protection. Satan, created from fire and endowed with cunning, has devoted countless centuries to undermining truth and misguiding humanity. Yet he has failed to locate even a single grave of a prophet protected by Allah. This is a reminder that no matter how persistent or clever evil may seem, it cannot overcome divine will. Every believer, in turn, is encouraged to resist the whispers of Shaitan, knowing that Allah's guidance is stronger and more enduring. Prophet Musa's life and the concealment of his grave also teach patience and humility. The children of Israel often tested Musa's patience, questioned his leadership, and strayed from guidance, yet he remained steadfast. Similarly, believers are called to trust in Allah's timing, to act with devotion without immediate reward or recognition, and to understand that divine wisdom often unfolds beyond human comprehension. Musa's hidden grave becomes a metaphor for all things sacred and divinely protected, teaching us that what Allah preserves is far more important than what we can see or claim. Another powerful lesson comes from the spiritual symbolism of Satan's endless search. It represents the eternal battle between truth and falsehood, guidance and misguidance. While humans can falter, Allah's plan ensures that the truth of his prophets remains intact. The hidden grave of Musa, peace be upon him, reminds us that evil may persist, attempt, and strategize, but it will never succeed against divine protection. This narrative strengthens believers' trust in Allah, encouraging reliance on him amidst trials and challenges. Reflecting on history, scholars note that the concealment also teaches about divine justice and foresight. The grave of a prophet, if known, could have been misused for idolatry, superstition, or false miracles. By hiding it, Allah prevented corruption before it could arise, preserving the purity of Musa's mission. Similarly, in our lives, unseen protections, divine interventions, and guidance often prevent harm in ways that may not be immediately evident. Recognizing these protections is part of spiritual maturity and faith. Even today, the story resonates with Muslims across the world. As believers learn about Prophet Musa's trials, miracles, and leadership, they are reminded that faith is not about proximity to sacred objects, but about internalizing guidance, acting on divine commands, and resisting evil influences. The hidden grave serves as a reminder that the essence of devotion lies in understanding and living by the teachings of the prophets, rather than seeking physical symbols. Moreover, the narrative calls for reflection on the broader cosmic order. Satan's failure is not just a historical anecdote, it is a spiritual reality that continues today. His search represents all attempts of evil to mislead humanity, yet Allah's protection ensures that truth endures. Believers are invited to learn from this, trust Allah's protection, follow the guidance of the prophets, and remain steadfast even when facing unseen challenges. Musa's hidden grave is a lesson that faith transcends the physical world, offering security and guidance for the soul. The spiritual impact of this story also extends to humility. Human curiosity may lead us to desire knowledge of the unseen, yet Allah reminds us that some matters are preserved for divine wisdom alone. Musa's grave is hidden not to deny information, but to teach that true honor lies in faith, obedience, and remembrance of Allah, rather than in physical discovery. This encourages believers to focus on what truly matters, living a life aligned with divine guidance, embodying the principles of the prophets, and resisting evil in every form. And so, the tale of Satan searching for the grave of Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, comes full circle. It is a story of divine protection, unseen wisdom, spiritual legacy, and the eternal struggle between good and evil. Every failure of Satan reinforces the truth. What Allah preserves is safe. What he conceals serves a greater purpose, and what he ordains is beyond human or satanic interference. As we conclude this part of the story, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell us in the comments, which other mysteries from the lives of the prophets or unseen battles would you like us to explore next? The grave of Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, remains hidden, but its lesson is clear. Trust in Allah, act on faith, preserve devotion, and know that divine protection surrounds what is sacred. Satan may continue his search, but believers know the ultimate truth. The unseen is often the most powerful, and the protection of Allah is eternal. Peace be upon you.